So today we're taking over the Cardinals because you guys have been asking for it for so long. And I agree, the Cardinals definitely in a rebuild phase. I think the big issue with them is what are they going to do with some of these aging players with big contracts? But I think with the young talent that they have in the farm system on top of the young talent that they already have at the MLB level, I think this could be a retool with the right moves. You've got Mason Wynn at shortstop. I think he's definitely the guy for that position. There's been some ups and downs with Jordan Walker and this team, but I think if you just commit to him in the outfield, he's definitely that guy. Tien Kentz looks to be a good starter for them in the future, along with Tekoa Roby. Thomas Segesi is another middle infielder for this team. I think he can also play third base. I think he played a couple days at third base in the minor leagues this year. And then this year's draft pick, JJ Weatherholt, we'll see what he can do. At 22 years old, he's probably not too far from the major leagues. And I know there's more talent in the farm system, but I figured I'd highlight a couple prospects. But the main issue that I mentioned, those contracts. Nolan Arenado is going to be an interesting one. Do they just try to trade him and take like a cut price deal where they don't get the best return, but they get that contract off the books? Sonny Gray, I think, is the best option to trade this offseason along with Ryan Helsley. Ryan Helsley's still in arbitration, but I think with him becoming a free agent after this upcoming season, he could be a trade target for some teams. But Sonny Gray, good pitcher. Teams need good pitching. I think he's probably the best bet to get a good return. And then Miles Michaelis, you probably just eat the contract, the last year of the contract, and just deal with it. So that's where I'm going to step in. I'm going to turn this Cardinals franchise around. Let's go win them a World Series. All right, so we're at the start of 2025. We've already kind of highlighted a couple prospects, and let's figure out what we're going to do with this team. So really quickly, let's go here. We'll go to where we went, and I didn't get rid of Giovanni Gallegos on this roster, so I just traded him to the Twins and then released the guy that we got in return. And then in terms of free agency, don't worry about who I signed, but just know that I didn't re-sign any of the people that became free agents. But just to kind of gloss over who we did sign, you can kind of see here all 1-year deals, all very cheap deals, because I was literally just looking to find bench players / players that could fill some spots in the bullpen. And we're actually going to start with the trade right off the rip. We're going to go with Sonny Gray to the Orioles. In this save, they didn't bring back Corbin Burns, so I think the Orioles could look to make another trade with their deep farm system. And with that, we're going to take Cade Povich, Heston Kierstad, and Giovanni Chase, who I think was a player that they just drafted. But we get an extra outfielder, a starting pitcher for the future, and then an extra prospect just to fill out the trade. I'm then going to get rid of Eric Fetty, who is in the last year of his deal, to the Guardians for injury-plagued Daniel Espino. We're going to see if we can get his career back on track. And we also get rid of this contract, and we get another young pitcher for the future. And then I've searched around and searched around and searched around for different trades for Nolan Arenado, and sadly, I couldn't find any. Like, literally could not find any that made sense. I tried to go to the Dodgers. I can't get anybody. Like, I'll show you. I think the way, like, I was trying to go for, like, Nick Frasso. Can't do that because of the budget. So then I was like, you know what? Okay, give me Chris Taylor because he's got a big contract. And then I was like, all right, now give me Nick Frasso. What? Are you serious? How does this make sense? How can I not acquire Chris Taylor and Nick Frasso for Nolan Arenado? It is absolutely insane. But you know what trade I can make? I can acquire Rafael Devers. So it doesn't make sense. How can I acquire someone who's younger, with higher potential, is higher rated, and a better player, but I can't acquire a low rated pitcher and a bad aging player with a bad contract? It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to eat the contract of Nolan Arenado, at least for this year. Maybe in the offseason we try to trade him again, but at least he'll be a Cardinal this year. So then heading into the regular season, I'm still on the fence about trading Ryan Helsley. Realistically, I probably should, but then who would I target in the team? Like, what position? Another pitcher, some more infield, some more outfield? Because as you could see, there was a lot of turnover this offseason. I brought in Michael Lorenzen for an $8 million contract. We've still got Steven Matz, Cade Povich straight into the rotation, Andre Palante, and James Caprillion. We've got Jake Junis up here, John King, Trevor Rogers. I picked up Jonathan Hernandez in the Rule 5 draft, Matthew Liberatore, Jojo Romero, and then Ryan Helsley. Again, a lot of players, a lot of turnover. And if you look kind of at the farm system here, I signed Connor Overton as some depth. We just picked up Espino. We have Hentz. We have McGreevy. We have Roby and a few others. I haven't even talked about the guys that we've drafted yet, But just to kind of give you an idea of the turnover that we had this offseason, there were a lot of changes, some new faces, and I'm only sending down Ivan Herrera just so that he gets everyday at-bats in AAA until we figure out what we want to do with Wilson Contreras. Heston Kjerstad, I'm actually going to make him a first baseman because I noticed this year in real life, he played a couple games at first base, and I thought, you know what? With our crowded outfield, first base is wide open. I know Luken Baker is on the team, but I signed Dom Smith as a backup, and we're going to let Heston Kjerstad get everyday reps at first. Second base, Nolan Gorman, same situation. I'm going to have him in AA, or I'm going to have him in AAA, and then I might put down Sagasi to AA for now, just so that he doesn't have to compete with Gorman. We've got Arenado at third. We've got Wynn and McKinstry as our backup, along with Jose Fermin as our backup. Left field, we've got Newbar and Bierling. Center field, we've got Siani with Victor Scott getting everyday reps in AAA. And then Burleson, Donovan, and Jordan Walker. So with that, I've already seen the rotation, and here is our everyday lineup. Some good, some bad. I think we're definitely going to have some more changes. But now let me show you our draft picks. The worst one, Yoenis Paul. Don't worry about him. We've got these two pitchers here in Aquino and Torres. Again, probably not going to make debuts. Our second round pick was Caleb Hamill, an 18-year-old out of Puerto Rico. Actually looks like a pretty decent pitching prospect. So this is someone that could crack the starting five pretty soon. And then our first round pick, I think number 6 in the draft, was Daryl Cowan. B potential, third baseman, switch hitter, decent fielding, decent speed, decent bat. I might move him to first base because he's 6'3", and depending on how Kjerstad does, we might actually need some depth at first. Or I keep him at third, and realistically, he competes with like Sagasi and potentially Nolan Gorman for that spot. Either way, we got plenty of depth in the future, or for the future. I'm actually liking this team. I've DFA'd Michael Michaelis just because I don't really see a point in giving him innings when I can just use a younger pitcher and just commit to him there. And as you can see, we go from 131 in salaries this year to 50 next year. And giving you an idea of who's on the books, it's literally Arenado and Wilson Contreras. That's it. So I considered trading Ryan Helsley. I looked at the different options that were available. Didn't really like anything currently. So this is the team. This is what we're going to rock with offensively and pitching wise. This is the squad. Helsley's going to man the closer spot. I almost said catcher spot. Closer spot. Let's get through this first season. All right, so the only trade that I found for Nolan Arenado for a team that needs a third baseman and for like somewhat of an okay return is Gleyber Torres. That's literally it. I don't necessarily need him. I was like, they don't really need a third baseman, but they kind of do, because like even Jake Berger's like really not doing much. He can also play first because they don't have a first baseman. So I tried to get Oswaldo Peraza just as like a bench bat, and he's actually kind of hitting well. They don't want to do that. And then I saw Everson Pereira went up to B potential this year. I was like, oh, let me get that. They don't want to do that either. So I'm just gonna take Gleyber. He can be a bench bat for us. Like he can play second base. That's really about it. He's gonna be the backup, and it's gonna be way cheaper than $32.5 million for the next 2 seasons. And that's what's gonna happen. It's not the greatest trade. It's not the greatest return, but we opened up so much money for the budget, because now we went from, what was it, 50-60 mil on the books next year down to 23. It needed to be done. He also like wasn't hitting that well, so like we might as well get rid of him while he had some value. And since I'm tanking, I'm just gonna leave Nolan Gorman in the farm system. He's hitting okay, 260, 21 home runs. It's honestly not bad at all. Like it's decent. I would take this from Nolan Gorman based on what he did in real life this year. And I have also called up Thomas Sagesi because he was doing really well in AA. Ivan Herrera is doing very well, and Weatherholt's doing fine. Cowan is doing fairly good. So we've got some good prospect development. The team's doing poorly, right? We're at the deadline. You can see we're 50 and 60. It's not looking great. I literally just wanted to move past the deadline anyways to get to this, which I believe I've signed everybody. I have. So let's just go see how we drafted. How did we draft? Honestly, not bad. Not bad. 89 potential for Rocky Traxler. First off, great name. Great name. I wanted to see maybe he had some hitting stats, even though I knew he wasn't a two-way player, but he's got decent pitching stats. I like what I'm seeing there. Randall Lowry, first baseman, second baseman, or left fielder, but the hitting stats were too good to pass up. for our second round pick. We've got Ernesto Brito and Luis Aguero, along with Luke Anderson. And then to round it all up, Paul Robinson, who doesn't look like he's got much about him. So honestly, I like the first two picks. Those are the pick of the draft right there. Those two, Rocky and Randall. I like it. I forgot to mention I signed Ryan Helsley to an extension. He was willing to take $6 million each year for the next 4 seasons. I thought, you know what? That's our closer for the rest of the rebuild. He wants to stay a Cardinal. I respect it. I've also made Hentz and Espino part of the rotation, and there we go. Povich is doing okay, but these two guys were absolutely tearing it up in AAA. They had like a 2.5 ERA each, both of them. So I was like, yeah, it's time. Takoa Roby's struggling a little bit with a 4.3 ERA, so I'm not going to call him up just yet. And I think that was really about it in terms of players that I wanted to call up. So we're going to leave it there. Yeah, season, not great. 74 and 88, kind of what I expected. So for league leaders, Burleson had the most in the major league along with hits. I'll take it, or at least the National League. I guess I should say the National League, because Luis Rengifo had 218, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. That's crazy. 218 for Rengifo? What? Awards, we had MVP for Alec Burleson, though, so he is absolutely insane, and we're going to try to keep him around as long as possible. Mike Trout won it on the other side. Crochet, Cy Young winner, along with Dylan Cease. Contreras and Judge, batting title winners. Griffin Jax and Fernando Cruz were the relievers of the year, and then Evan Carter, who is now a National. That's right. He got traded for Dylan Cruz. It was a 1-for-1. That's what happened. And then Nico Cavadas won it with the Angels, or the Rookie of the Year for the Angels. Takoa Roby got called up in September, got 5 starts, and ended up pitching fairly well. So he might be a guy that's on my radar for that like back part of the rotation. I feel like next season is still kind of a growing season for us, so I'm not really looking to spend big or acquire crazy talent unless something is like too good to pass up. Jonathan Hernandez as a Rule 5 pick. You know what? I think we can build on this. He's got arbitration. We might as well keep him in the bullpen. Tink Hentz, his season wasn't phenomenal. You know, a 5.5 ERA over 50 innings, but I expect him to grow, develop some more. I mean, the season wasn't bad. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that in terms of growth. Michael Lorenzen was terrible, so we're not going to bring him back. Palante was fine. It was okay. Caprillion, a one and done for us. I'm not expecting him to return. Jake Junis, kind of the same thing. Was just looking for him to eat some innings in the bullpen. Espino cooled off. He started off hot, and then he cooled off. Ended up with a 4.5 ERA. We got Kate Povich, who had a 4.3. But in terms of like the youngsters, I'm actually pretty happy with Povich, Hentz, and Espino. And then if we kind of start to look at some of the bullpen guys, John King, not a bad season from him. Steven Matz, surprisingly, he was part of the rotation. Not too bad, but I won't be bringing him back. I won't be. Jojo Romero, very solid. Helsley, very, very good. Glad to give him an extension to make him a closer for the rest of the rebuild. Liberatore was great. And then Caleb Ferguson got called up for some reason, even though I didn't have any plans for him this year. Jordan Walker's full season wasn't great, like at all. It's a little worrisome. Didn't really develop either. So I'm hoping he can turn it around next year. Our bench was fine. You know, like Glaber really didn't do anything to impress me. If he's willing to take a similar salary for a bench role, I think I could keep him on the team. Matt Vierling, kind of our main bench guy. And then looking at our starters, Mason Wynn was phenomenal as this leadoff guy. I think he is our future for sure. Newbar, fairly good season. I'm not going to complain about those numbers at all. Those are good. Alec Burleson won MVP, so there's that. We got Wilson Contreras, who was good. I don't expect him to hold his rating. I don't expect him to be that guy for too much longer. We do have Herrera, who's right behind him. Realistically, Burleson at first base is probably our other option, with Contreras moving to DH. And then Herrera plays catcher. We got Brendan Donovan, who's kind of our utility guy right now. Good season. I'm not complaining. Gorman came up, got almost 80 at-bats. He was fine. Kierstead, I'm going to give him one more season to kind of prove his worth on the team. If not, maybe just a role player, a bench guy for us, which is still not bad. And finishing it off with a Michael Ciani. Overall, kind of meh, right? So I wasn't expecting big things. I was looking more for growth within our young players. Some did, some didn't. Let's get into the offseason. Let's build on the season. The Phillies defeat the Twins. Okay, all right. Let's see who was the MVP really quick. Johan Rojas. I bet you he had 2 ABs, went 1 for 2, and he got the World Series MVP. Where is he? What did he go? Oh, he had 41 at bats in the playoffs. I mean, he hit 500, so I don't really know what to expect out of that with the World Series. But offseason time, like I said, nobody on our team retired. Verlander into the Hall of Fame. And looking at this, let's see here. I guess we could bring him back just to have that depth just in case. Jake Junis, I'm going to let walk. Dom Smith, how were you this year? Not great, but those hitting stats are like almost kind of too good to pass up. We've used all the options. So would he be the backup first baseman again? Probably. I'll offer it because why not? And then Glaber, what does Glaber want for a season? I'm okay paying 5. I'm okay paying 5. And that'll be it. Those will be the 3 that we have on the table. A total of $9 million for those 3 players. And I need a hitting coach and a pitching coach and a farm director. Okay. Even before I know what's in free agency, I'm just going to let you know now, I'm not picking up a big name unless there's one at like the end of the offseason. And realistically, I'm not looking to go crazy right now because we still kind of have these players that are developing. And what do we need? A right fielder. That's Jordan Walker. I mean, if anything, maybe a starter. Maybe a starter. Maybe. And like I said, if it is, it's because he's still sitting there at the end of free agency, because then I can think maybe we can kind of speed up this rebuild, and instead of waiting till season 3, which is my original plan, we can kick it into like season 2. So let's just see how free agency plays out. Alrighty, season 2, and it's an interesting one because you can see we're pretty low ranked. Makes sense. Let me show you why. So pitching wise in AAA, I'm going to let Tink Hence and Takoa Roby start here. I want to see them develop a little bit more just because they did, at least Tink Hence did struggle a little bit in the majors, and Takoa Roby only had 30 innings. He was very good, so he's probably the first one up over Tink Hence, unless both of them just like absolutely dominate, then I'll call it both. Added a little bit more depth into the bullpen, did bring back Keenan Middleton, but you kind of see we're pretty strong here. We do still have Jonathan Hernandez in the bullpen too. Caleb Hamill's up to a 73. Rocky Traxler's up to a 73 somehow. Maybe that's what he was drafted at. I don't remember already. But Connor Overton's going to be our long reliever to start. I had him last year. He only got 20 innings. Wasn't great. But again, I'm not really looking to win right now anyways. So there's that. This is currently our bullpen. I brought in Stanek and Barlow. Both of them pitched fairly well last year. Both of them didn't really want that much money, so I signed them. And then I picked up this guy in the Rule 5 draft. I really shouldn't have, because we had Jonathan Hernandez. We have Ferguson, Thompson, John King. The issue is we've got a lot of lefties, and I picked this guy up. And then I saw that Barlow and Stanek were still in free agency towards the end of free agency, so I scooped them up. And then we just had way too many bullpen arms, so now I have to use this guy. Yeah. And then Helsley, obviously, as our closer. Trevor Williams signed a $7 million deal after pitching a 4.27 ERA last year. We'll see. Not expecting much. And then Michael Wacha is back as a St. Louis Cardinal for $5 million after pitching for Baltimore last year and had a 3 ERA. So I'm pretty happy with that pickup. We'll have to wait and see how he performs, though. And then Andre Palante is going to get one more shot as a starter. Lineup wise, this is what AAA looks like. You can kind of see Dom Smith is back. And then the top 4 right here, the big ones to watch out for. In AA, Randall's there. We've got Joshua Baez, Chase Davis. And the majors, this is the bench. Jacob Stallings is going to be that backup catcher, so I can let Ivan Herrera take over at catcher in AAA. My big thing is I'm going to let Kierstead get a season at first base. And if it doesn't work out, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Burleson back to first, which isn't ideal. But then Contreras is going to take over as DH, and then the catcher will be Herrera. That's my game plan if Kierstead doesn't work at first base. And then Kierstead will just take over the Luke and Baker bench role. And yeah, basically the lineup is the exact same, except for Victor Scott is taking over for Siani. Siani didn't really do much last year. I'm not expecting a lot from Victor Scott either, but let's see how it goes. That's the team. That's where we're ranked. Let's get through season 2. Alrighty, so we're at the draft. Let me show you my picks, our picks, whatever. We've got Tom Park with 8 potential, 70 overall. This was our first pick. We had number 8 in the draft, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy with it. We've got Sawyer Young, 6'3" shortstop who can also play first and second. Great speed, great fielding, good hitting stats, B potential. I like it. And then the rest of the guys, they're kind of whatever. I don't really see them playing a part, but again, another draft with the first and second pick. Fantastic. So the season is over. Let's see where we finished. Standings wise, we won the division by 1 game. I don't know how we did this. We also would have been a wild card team, so it's not like if we missed out on the division that we wouldn't have made the postseason. Well, actually, the Cubs didn't make it in, so I guess it would have been interesting to see if we would have made it in over the Padres. So winning the division actually guaranteed us the postseason, so we're gonna be taking on the Padres in the postseason. But okay, talk about a second season turnaround. So no league leaders, no awards, but Ohtani won MVP, beating out Soto, who's in the West, along with Zach Wheeler. Ozuna won with he's with the Mariners now, but he won the MVP on the AL side. Logan Gilbert and Ohtani are your Cy Young winners. Corbin Carroll and Marcell Ozuna batting title winners. Chad Green, along with Matt Strahm, are the relievers of the year. And then James Tibbs the third beat out Victor Scott for Rookie of the Year. Not the craziest Rookie of the Year race based off of those stats, but on the AL side, it was George Valera beating out Ben Rice and Braden Montgomery. Again, iffy numbers. Takora Roby had 21 games in the majors, some long relief, some starting, and again, not ideal. So I think next year it's a full season in AAA until he can really show me that he's like ready for the majors. Like I need a crazy season in AAA. Tink Hence didn't get to pitch at all. He was really struggling in AAA this year. He's up to a 78. So even though he did struggle, he did develop a little bit. And then I think this was the only other pitcher that pitched in the majors. This was our Rule 5 pick. And to be honest, he wasn't terrible. I'll probably keep him around because we'll be able to get him for fairly cheap. The whip's at 1.2. It's just the ERA is a little bit high. So I'm not too worried about it. Again, another depth piece for the bullpen. Not a bad thing. Connor Overton was a very solid long reliever, 150 innings pitched. I'm happy with that. We've got Andre Palante, who struggled as a starter and then moved them to the bullpen, still kind of struggled. So I don't know if he's really a guy that I can trust too much more. We'll have to wait and see if I need him as depth, maybe in AAA in case we need another starter reliever, something like that. We got Liberatore, who had a 4 ERA, so not as good as he was the year before. Ryan Stanek was good. Barlow was solid, but he's starting to regress, so I don't know if he's someone that I can bring back. Stanek is holding his rating, though, so maybe he is somebody that I do bring back. Jonathan Hernandez didn't pitch at all this year. He's taking over for that Rule 5 pick, and then Jojo Romero was fantastic in the setup role. I did extend his contract during the season for 3 years. He's actually getting paid more than Helsley. Oh, he's actually paying the same as Helsley, and Helsley's regressing. Not ideal, but he did have a good season. Trevor Williams. Talk about a pickup. We paid him $7 million and he gave us a great season. Michael Wacha, again, paid him $5 million and he was unbelievable. Honestly, he's probably going to be our one starter with Williams right behind him. Espino, almost a 4 ERA, just shy of that, but you know what? I will take that. Looks to be a solid starter for us. And then Cade Povich struggled a little bit, but these are going to be our 4 for the season, or at least for the postseason. We'll have to see what happens next year. Lineup wise, I was going to call up Weatherholt. I was going to consider Cohen and also Sagesi, but they all really struggled this year. I think the best between the three was like a 250 average with like a 740 OPS. Like they all really struggled. So we just kind of kept the lineup the same for the most part, except for Ivan Herrera came in to face righties because Heston Kierstead, he struggled. Once we took him out of the starting lineup, he started to pick up his average a little bit and on base percentage. So I'm thinking he's just a bench bat for us. He does hit lefties a little bit better, so maybe he faces lefties and we take out Herrera versus lefties, and then Contreras is the catcher versus lefties. That might be the move that we rock with. Stallings as a backup catcher wasn't too bad at all. Ciani was fine off the bench. Gleyber Torres was whatever off the bench, and Vierling was like our main threat off the bench, which doesn't say much. Starting at the bottom, Victor Scott wasn't great, even though he finished second in Rookie of the Year. Ivan Herrera got 150 ABs and was pretty good, so I think he's going to be our starter versus righties moving forward. Jordan Walker, again, struggled. He did improve, but not as much as I wanted him to, but the growth was good. So I still have faith. Nolan Gorman definitely did struggle in a full season, so I think second base is somewhere where I'm going to look to maybe turn to the farm system or maybe get like a veteran that can fill in for a season. Brendan Donovan, he's always going to be consistent for us. Wilson Contreras still putting up solid numbers. Alec Burleson did have a little bit of a slump compared to last year, so hopefully he can pick it up next year. And then Lars Nootbaar, still very consistent for us. And finishing it off with our kind of face of the franchise with Mason Wynn. He cooled off in terms of like the slugging. It wasn't anywhere near what he did last year, but still very respectable numbers. I'm happy with it. I'm happy we made the postseason. I was not expecting that at all. So if we even do anything here, I will be happy. What is not right about our lineups? Oh, this is... What position is this? Oh, right field. It's Jordan Walker. Okay. So here we go. We lose the first. We win the second. It comes down to Espino, and we lose 5-6. Dang. Did it get out of hand? When did it? Oh, in the sixth. Okay. So yeah, the sixth was pretty tough. That's where we kind of lost it. That's where it all kind of fell apart. But we won 5-2, and then we lost 10-4. That's a tough loss. But you know what? We made the postseason in season 2. I wasn't even expecting to compete for the postseason until season 3. Like I was hoping maybe fight for a wild card spot next year, but now we're a postseason team. Now it's time to start picking some players. Sem retired. Okay. He wasn't really in my plans, so we'll have to think about this. So we do have Hentz. We do have Roby. The thing is, we definitely need at least like an ace. You know, like Waka and Trevor Williams were fine. Maybe bring one of them back or maybe find someone similar. And then we definitely need an ace. So I think the big money move, 100% an ace. Offensively, maybe if there's like some sort of veteran for second base, just because I don't know if he's ready yet. Maybe mid-season call up. And Glaber's definitely not the guy to start, right? And Weatherholt, you can kind of see he didn't really improve too much, and he's more corner position. So I guess we could move Donovan to second, call him up. But again, I don't think he's fully ready either based on what he did in AAA this season. So maybe a veteran infielder and an ace. That's kind of the big moves this offseason. So I'll do the offers and I'll show you. Offers, we've got 5.5 for Glaber, 3.5 for Smith, and 1 for Ferguson. Honestly, I'm going to withdraw the Smith. So it's just going to be Ferguson and Torres, and the rest are going to walk. You're probably thinking I'm crazy. We've got so much money to play with this offseason. I'm a little worried this is the offseason that sucks, but I think we'll be fine. Maybe we can find somebody that becomes available in the trade market. So let's see if anybody... They both didn't sign. Okay, so I think we'll be fine though. I feel like we've got a couple arms down here we can turn to. Starters. I think Hentz is our 5, and we definitely pick up an ace. I think we're fine. Let's just quick. I'm just saying that would be a great ace to pick up. I think we know the guy. Alrighty, season 3, we've moved up to 15th ranked, still doing well with the contact and the power. Defense doesn't look great, which is understandable based on our lineup because this is what it's looking like. Weatherholt has been promoted. Other than that, this is what we're rocking with. Yes, Gorman is on the bench. Yes, Gleyber Torres is back. Siani's on the bench. Vierling and Kierstead. I really like this team. And pitching wise, I did go get Scooble. It's going to be a lot of money. It's like 27, 28 mil over the next 8 years, whatever that is. 7 years. So it's 26.4 on average for 7 years. This was a no-brainer. We needed that ace. He's available. He was only 30 years old. I brought back Michael Waka as sort of a veteran leader / 2 in the rotation. And then we're going to rock with Povich, Espino, and Hentz. Obviously, that means Roby is down in the minor leagues, but we still got Traxler. We've also got Hamill, who's developing very well, so we could see one of those 3 if need be. Bullpen, again, plenty of depth. We've also added Bryce Wilson, Ryan Stanek is back, and then we brought in Hunter Harvey on a $2 million deal. I feel great about the pitching staff. Michael Walker might become an issue if he starts to regress, but overall the team looks great. I like the lineup. The one thing that I'm worried about is Victor Scott, and I'm tempted to just send him down for one more season, let Siani be the backup, and then maybe try to get a upgrade for this year. Since we're really trying to push for the playoffs again, I feel like we should add to the team. So for that, I'm going to add JJ Bleday from the Athletics. The team's looking pretty thin looking at their squad. I mean, it doesn't look great still. After 2 seasons, they haven't done anything. So I'm going to pick him up. He becomes a free agent, not this year, but the year after. So I feel like we're still kind of hitting him in his prime. He had a really good season last year. The year before, he was still pretty good too. Adds another, a little bit of offense to the team. And I don't really have to give up that much. Chase Davis is kind of the main piece, but based on his hitting stats, I don't really see him breaking into the team. He's already 25. And then we're also going to throw in Luis Aguero, 24-year-old, 71 overall starting pitcher. And then we're also going to throw in him. Maybe he'll bring the oil. Let's get to the next part and add Bleday to the team. And then we'll throw him maybe here and then swap those two. And then that'll be the lineup. And then again, we have a lot of lefties. So, oh man, we have so many lefties, dude. Let's... how am I gonna change this up? There's way too many lefties versus the lefty lineup. Holy cow. But the thing is, like, I think that's what I gotta do anyways. I feel like that's the only other way to change it is if I get Herrera into the team, which might happen depending on how Wilson Contreras performs. Either way, that's the only change. That's the only other change, and it actually bumped us up in power. I think that actually bumped us up a little bit in power. So you know what that means? Victor Scott is going to be in AAA this year. I'm going to try to get him as many at bats as possible, so I'm going to move him up a little bit in the lineup. We'll throw him there and we'll go like that. So hopefully he develops with the other two in Cohen and Sagesi, because those guys they're fighting for spots here. I don't know how much longer Brendan Donovan's going to be good. I don't know if we're going to need backups or if Weatherholt's going to be good. So let's see. Let's get through season 3. So we finished the season as a wild card team this year, which is super disappointing because we won 95 games. But also you can see the Central is super competitive. We've got 3 playoff teams. The Reds beat us by 3 games with 98 wins. So I'm kind of interested to see what kind of team they're rocking. Let's see, Spencer Steer. Oh, they got a Rosarena, and that really just that's the Reds. Let's see their pitching staff. I mean, they've just developed really well, and they've just got a good team now. So we might have to up our level a little bit to compete with them. League leaders, you can see Alec Burleson got back on top with those home runs. Mason Wynn with the doubles, RBIs for Burleson, walks for Contreras, slugging percentage for Burleson as well. Is he going to win another MVP? There it is, 2 MVPs for Burleson. That's crazy. We got Jordan on the AL side. Ranger Suarez with the Red Sox now wins the Cy Young. Nick Lodolo won it for the Reds this year. Soto and Judge are the batting title winners. Joan Duran and Evan Phillips with the Reds. So yeah, the Reds added Evan Phillips. He didn't allow a single earned run this year. He allowed 1 run all year. Would they pay him $4 million? Okay, Rookie of the Year went to Antonio Navarro of the Dodgers. Okay. He beat out JJ Weatherholt, who was actually holding a good average all year, and then he cooled off the final couple months. Like after the deadline, he cooled off a lot, and then Manzardo won it on the AL side. Okay, so pitching was a little rocky. I'm not gonna lie. Cade Povich really struggled this year, which is super disappointing. Super disappointing. Then Espino also struggled. Palante also struggled. Takoa Roby also struggled. So it didn't really matter who we called up. A lot of people were just really struggling this year. Stanek wasn't great. I don't think Kolek got called up. I actually don't think anybody else got called up in this squad. So Liberatore, again, super consistent. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. Hunter Harvey came in, gave us 1 season. I might try to get another year from him, see if he'll sign like under $5 million. I'd be okay with that. Hernandez came up, gave us 20 innings of really good bullpen work. Bryce Wilson was also very consistent, also one of our most used arms by far. And then we had Romero, whose potential's gone up. I like that. I like that. And then Helsley, also very good. Love it. So Skubal obviously is going to be good for us. ERA was a little high, but I'm okay with that. Waka struggled a little bit this year. Kind of expected. Kind of going to regress, right? We've got Hamill. That's right. The 20-year-old got called up, and he was fine. He was 12-4 on the year though. So there's that. And then Hence was unbelievable. So I actually think we're going to go like that for the postseason. It's crazy, but we're going to let the 20-year-old start in the postseason. Ooh, hold up. Jordan Walker's supposed to be here and also here. Vierling was whatever. He's been our bench bat. He was pretty good, actually. This is his best year by far. We've got Glaber, who was not great. I'm not going to re-sign him. He's probably going to go somewhere and absolutely mash, but I just can't give him at bats anymore. We have plenty of other guys that deserve opportunities. We've got Thomas here. We've got Lowry. We've got Cohen. Sawyer Young's not too far off either. I just feel like it's time to go to some of the younger guys. Victor Scott got 9 ABs and was actually good, but it was 9 ABs. Kind of tough to judge him on that. And then Ivan Herrera, super good for us this year. Almost a 300 average in 450 ABs. Like, that's a really good season from him. I don't know how much more he'll develop, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. And Gorman was at 17 ABs. It's tough to judge him on that kind of performance. Kierstead, let's see how he did. Pretty bad. He might be on my do not acquire list now. He might have finally made it. Mason Wynn's unbelievable. 52 doubles, 20 home runs, 15 stolen bases, a 324 average with almost a 400 on base percentage. Give me more of that. He becomes a free agent, and I don't know what to do, because we don't necessarily have an outfield replacement, and I'm not going to put him in left field, right? I'm not going to put Cohen in left field. I'm not going to put Sawyer Young in left field. Do I sign somebody new? Do I just keep Nootbaar? What is the move? Because he's been super consistent. He'd be kind of one of our veterans in the team. We really only need him for like 2 more years, which I feel like we could get. It'll be interesting to see how much he wants. Burleson, MVP, almost 50 home runs. I mean, what more can you say? Contreras is still putting up good numbers, so I'm really happy about that. Blade, first year, I'll take that. Those are fine numbers. Walker is slowly improving. He's still only 24, which is crazy to think about considering he's got 4 years of service time by now. Brendan Donovan, still putting up okay numbers, but he is looking, he looks like he's regressing a little bit. Even though he is like improving in attributes, the stats are regressing. So he might be someone that becomes like a utility guy, and then we turn to, like I said, one of these other guys that can play the infield. Ivan Herrera, we've already seen his numbers, amazing. And then Weatherholt, we saw his numbers too, very good. So pretty good, I would say. Postseason time against the Cubs. Imanaga versus Skubal, we win 9-1. Hence versus Steele, we lose 6-2. Waka, it comes down to Michael Waka, and we win 2-1. We don't lose to the Cubs. All right, so as much as I want to let Hamill go, I can't. Not yet, at least. I mean, how many days was it? So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 days rest. We can do it. We lose 5-7, and then we lose 1-4. We at least keep it alive. We're still alive. It comes down to Skubal versus Green again, and we win, taking on the Phillies. So it'll be Hence Waka, and then Skubal Hamill. I think that's what we're gonna do. Or actually, when did Skubal pitch? It's been about. This was Skubal, right? This was Skubal. I believe this was Skubal. Am I wrong? I'm not. Oh, he only went 4 innings. Yikes. So it'd be Hence, Waka, Skubal. Yeah, I think that's what we got to do. All right, it's time. We lose the first and the second. That's tough. And the third. We don't get swept at least, but we do lose 4-1 on the series. Yeah, that's a tough series. I'll take a look at their lineup really quick to get an idea of what took us down. I mean, that's just a good hitting team. Like, that 1 through 5 is nasty. They're pitching Wheeler, Nola, Andrew Painter, Sanchez, John Means is always good in franchise. Yeah, that's a tough one to go out on. I mean, we just 3 runs, 4 runs. We were fairly consistent in the runs we were scoring. We're just allowing too much. So yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to go out on. But 1 series short of a World Series. I mean, like I said, I was only expecting us to push for playoffs this year. I wasn't even expecting us to be this competitive. So 3 straight Phillies World Series, that's kind of what we're coming up against. We're literally coming up against a dynasty at this point in this rebuild. That's how difficult it is to get to the World Series with our squad. And we're still a super young team. So I'm pretty happy with where we're at. This is where things get a little difficult. Realistically, I'm gonna bring most of these guys back. Let's figure out our offers. So Brendan Donovan, I gave an extension to mid-season. I think I forgot to mention that, $6.5 mil, basically for the rest of the rebuild. I thought as a platoon guy, this is basically, if he does poorly in the lineup, this is our new Glaber. He can sit on the bench and basically just fill out whatever we need. Our offers are this: 15 mil a year for 3 seasons for Nootbaar, Hunter Harvey, just under 1.5, just under $1 mil for Bryce Wilson, and just over 2.5 for Caleb Ferguson, which means all these other guys are going to go. Gleyber Torres wants like almost 8 mil. Vierling almost, I think he wants around 7 or 8 mil too. And then I just don't want these 2 relievers. Waka, I think it's just time to go. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it to a World Series with him. So I think we'll just target another, maybe, actually, will we need, like, I don't hate this rotation. And then maybe Roby goes, Takoa Roby goes in the long relief spot. The bullpen looks pretty strong. Maybe we don't need a pitcher. And then lineup wise, I feel pretty good about that too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to target. Alrighty, so here we go. Season 4. We gotta get something going here. We ranked 9th, first in contact, 4th in power, 9th in pitching, and our defense still sucks, which disappointing. Our big addition this offseason was Mackenzie Gore. I felt like looking at our rotation, we really needed a strong number 2. Our contract is about 23 mil over the next 7 seasons, or about 24 on average for the next 7 seasons. And realistically, we're still pretty healthy money-wise, because after this year, we have Skubal, Gore, Nootbaar came back. We've got that 3-year deal. Burleson, I've extended him for the rest of the rebuild. Cost me 11 mil. For a 2-time MVP, 11 mil, I'm okay with that. We've got Donovan on the books next year, Helsley, and Romero. And then we lose a couple players that we'll figure out from there. But we should be pretty healthy money-wise. So rotation-wise, I'm going to give Takoa Roby one more shot to earn a bullpen spot, a rotation spot. And if it doesn't work out, we're probably going Caleb Hamill, just because he was pretty good last year. I've got like 4 or 5 players on waivers right now. But we rocked with Caleb Hamill last year. He gave us a 4.3 ERA. This is probably the next call up, but this is the team now. Hence, Espino, Roby, we've got Povich. Our bullpen currently looks like this. As you can see, it's the same. No changes. I really like the bullpen that we had last year. And then offensively, I'm thinking about making a change. I really did. I thought about letting Nootbaar go and seeing if we could sign somebody else. But I really like the fact that this is a completely like original Cardinals team plus Cardinals farm system minus Bleday and Kierstead. Literally every other player is a Cardinal in real life. And then we have Sawyer Young, Randall Lowry, and Daryl Cohen, all like really close to being MLB ready too. So we could even bring up more Cardinals to fill out this roster. Bleday is a free agent at the end of the year, so we could be in the market for a center fielder. I just don't think Victor Scott is going to be that guy unless like something crazy happens this year. I could send him down or I could start him, but I feel like Bleday is probably the better choice in center field. I like the team. We're going to rock with it. Let's see how season 4 goes. All right, so as you can see, the season went fantastic. 101 wins with only 61 losses. We're taking on the winner of the wild card game, which is going to be either the Diamondbacks or the Reds. I think both teams are pretty stacked. Awards-wise, we have a Rookie of the Year in Thomas Sagesi. I hope I haven't been saying his name wrong this whole time. I really hope I haven't. But we got one. Burleson wasn't in the race this time, but Nootbaar was. And speaking of the Diamondbacks, Juan Soto is a Diamondback, and he won MVP. Corey Seager won it on the AL side. Bailey Ober, along with Dylan Cease, are the Cy Young winners. And look who it is in the Cy Young race, Takoa Roby. Look at him, full season. Okay, I see you. We've got William Contreras and Jurickson Profar as the batting title winners. Duran, Cole Winn, relievers of the year, and then Aaron DeMille, who I think is pretty good. I would say he's pretty good for the Rays, along with Thomas Sagesi, who actually didn't. Oh, he got 140 games. Okay, I took him out of the lineup for a little bit just because he was cold. but he actually played a little bit more than I anticipated. I'm actually gonna put him. You know what? I'm gonna start him in the postseason. So Brendan Donovan, we have him for the rest of the rebuild. He's gonna be our utility Swiss Army knife off the bench. He's solid. I love to see it. Victor Scott, as a bench outfielder, not bad. Not bad. I will take those numbers all day. That is a fantastic season. Ivan Herrera is still our main catcher. I guess I should look at it this way. Where is he? Ivan Herrera. Well, I guess he shouldn't be on the bench, but he is versus lefties. Michael Ciani, an extra bench outfielder. It's whatever. Nolan Gorman. Yeah, and then Kierstead, not terrible off the bench, but nothing too crazy. Looking at our starters, Mason Wynn continues to do absolutely crazy things. We've got Nootbaar, who put up 40 home runs. Get yourself a Lars Nootbaar if you're doing franchise. He's just so good, so consistent. Burleson did struggle a little bit, but I say he struggled a little bit. He still hit 270 with an 817 OPS and 35 home runs. He didn't struggle. Just compared to like other years, he struggled. William Contreras in his contract year had a fantastic season. Unbelievable season. Career season, by the way, with 43 home runs. We've got Jordan Walker, who I thought he was putting it together and just doesn't look like it. So there's that. Blade, 20 home runs in his contract season. I feel like this is kind of what you expect from Blade. Like, this is what you're going to get in this franchise world. So, like, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back. I could also just let Victor Scott man center field for the final season. Ivan Herrera, 15 home runs, very comparable season to last year. And then JJ Weatherholt, great sophomore season. Same amount of home runs, couple more RBIs, about the same amount of walks, same amount of ABs, more hits though, same amount of doubles. So he just put a couple things together. And then Thomas Segesi, who finished as the winner of the Rookie of the Year. Not a bad season at all. We did have, where is he? Cohen come up, and he only got 34 ABs, but it wasn't a great sample size. So there's that. And then we have Randall Lowry, who's up to an 81. So we do have plenty of talent in the farm system still. I mean, speaking of pitchers, right? We do have Traxler. We have Espino, who was bad. So he might just be more of like fighting it out for this long relief spot. And then we have Caleb Hamill, who also is up to an 84. So we've got pitchers for days. So let's talk about this pitching, just so that we can kind of see how everything went. Povich was our long reliever, got 100 innings. Not bad. I'll take that from him. I think he's going to be in this role. Maybe it's the 5 is in our rotation. Tink Hence, kind of a similar situation. So we've got, wait, why is Bryce, I think, hold on. This is all jumbled up. Hold on. Thompson's not supposed to be up. And instead, hold on. I was wondering, something was off. So do I call up Espino or do I go with Hamill? Or, yeah, I guess I could do that. I guess we could rock with the youngster as an extra arm, because where is he? Yeah, Zach Thompson. Even though he's our second best lefty. Ooh, wait a second. But everybody in our bullpen pitched very well. I'll take out Caleb Ferguson because he didn't pitch at all. I don't know why Zach Thompson didn't pitch this year. That's a big oversight on my part. He actually grew a crazy amount, because he was like 75 to start the season. So he went up 3 overall this year, minimum. That's crazy. Okay, so Hamill's going to be our extra long reliever. We've got Bryce Wilson, who put up a good season once again. Jonathan Hernandez, almost identical to last year. Hunter Harvey, again, very good. Zach Thompson, going to join the bullpen. Jojo Romero, again, a fantastic setup man. And then Ryan Helsley, starting to regress a little bit, but still very consistent. Our starters in Schoolbull had a 3.4 ERA. Not as good as I would like. So hopefully maybe just one season where he could just light it up on the mound. Mackenzie Gore, kind of a similar situation where, like, I'm not hating on the numbers. They're very good numbers, but I want like ace type numbers, and I'm not getting them from these two. We've got Takoa Roby, who was part of the Cy Young conversation, and then Tink Hence, who did struggle a little bit. So I'm hoping for some good postseason performances. Diamondbacks, any new changes, crazy changes? Obviously they have Soto, McCarthy, IKF, Carroll, Alec Thomas. Glaber, how did he do for them? Not great. Okay, good. Jordan Lawler, Moreno, and Melendez. Interesting. Okay, pitching wise, I mean, that's a good pitching team. It's a good pitching team. So here we go. Nelson versus Skubal. We won 10-9. Talk about a first game of the postseason. 6-5 in the second. And then Roby closes it out. So instead of Hentz, he's just kind of like our fourth option. If need be, we're going to rock with Skubal for game 1 against the Mets. And we win the second, which is good. So it's 1-2. We're down 2-2 thanks to a Skubal. Wait, no. To a Tink Hentz performance. 7 shutout innings. We win that one. Can we close it out to go to the World Series? We do not. But it's going to be Roby once again. Oh, wait, no. It was actually Thompson. Okay. So facing the Twins, we can kind of see that's just the Twins plus Ryan Noda. That's literally just the Twins plus Ryan Noda. Corbin Burns has joined. Justin Steele has joined. Josiah Gray. Some new pitchers. Okay. All right. Can we do it? We've got Skubal with an 8.6 ERA for game 1. We win. Mackenzie Gore with a 7.2 ERA. We lose. Roby, we win. Hence, we lose. So back to Skubal, we lose. We're 1 game away from losing the World Series. And it happened. A 3-2 loss. Caleb Hamill gets the loss, but he did pitch 20 innings and had a 3.1 ERA in the postseason. Skubal and I mean, Roby pitched pretty well. Let's see. Our 2 main guys just really dropped the ball in the postseason. The other 2 fantastic. Povich, Hamill, Hentz, Roby. The bullpen as a whole was really good. The starters let us down. Offensively, looking at it, Blade kind of went quiet. Herrera went a little quiet. Sagasi went a little quiet. But it literally was our 2 highest paid players let us down in the postseason. That is unbelievable. They got what? The Garrett Cole syndrome? What's going on there? So I'm going to pick up this contract. It's $6 million. He's been fantastic for us. I'm going to let Wilson Contreras go. He's 36. He is regressing very heavily. And if he pops off for 50 home runs with another team, that's perfectly fine. He's been great for us. As a Cubs fan, I loved him as a Cub as well. But it's time to let Ivan Herrera just be the everyday catcher. And then I signed Matt Thaiss as a backup, even though I never used him, just in case Contreras like completely fell off the face of the earth. I'll give him $6 million. He can be our backup. Bryce Wilson, I'm going to try to get another year. And he wants no money at all. I'll just give him $1 million flat. That's amazing. Caleb Ferguson continues to develop. Yep, keep joining the squad. 3.5. I think that's more than what you got this year. Jonathan Hernandez has been very good for us. I'll give him a bullpen role so I can just pay him 3, and that should work. And then Hunter Harvey, I'm going to let walk. And Blade, I think he's not going to want much. 12, almost 13 mil. I'm leaning towards Victor Scott. Unless there is just an absolutely crazy player in the farm system, or in free agency. Like if there's like, I don't even know who it would be, but if there's some crazy outfielder, I'll do it. Alrighty, final season, and as you can see, we took a step up offensively, pitching wise, the power, but we're lacking speed and defense. No surprise there. But let's talk about the team pitching wise. I'm gonna rock an extra long reliever, see if that kind of eases some of the pressure on the starters. And I like the addition that we did this offseason. Gregory Santos of the Mariners, $8 million for 2 seasons. He's coming off of a bad season of 2027, but 2028 was good. And really, that was it. 2027 was bad. Every other year has been fantastic. And we're rocking basically the same bullpen because it's been one of the best parts of this team. Espino and Povich are going to be our 2 long relievers. And then we have our homegrown draft pick, Caleb Hamill, along with Roby Hentz, and then the 2 signings of Skubal and Gore. Lineup wise, we also have an addition in Riley Green. No matter what contract I offered Acuna, he would not sign, which is really annoying because no matter I offered 5 years, 6 years, 9 years, 10 years, I offered what he was asking of like 27 mil. I offered him the max 40 mil. It didn't matter. It just, no matter what I offered, it was always the Braves. That was always the #1 offer. And look at this. They don't have Acuna, where did he go? He went to the Royals. I mean, the Royals look kind of nasty, by the way. They look pretty nasty. But that's besides the point. So instead, I went for Riley Green, who has also been fairly good, right? He can play a little bit of everything in the outfield. And for 14 mil, why not? Why not? We've got an all-star appearance in 2027. But outside of that, you can see Cowan is going to start at first base. There's no Kierstead in the team currently. We've got Donovan, Scott, Gorman, and Theis. We've got Herrera at catcher, Weatherholt at second. I was really tempted to get rid of Walker and just play anybody else. Like, I could go Riley Green in right field and go with Victor Scott in center. So there's that. Sagesi, and then of course we do have Young and Lowry down here waiting for their opportunity, but I really don't know how they're going to when this team has been good offensively. It was just we didn't win a World Series because our top two starting pitchers dropped the ball. So I don't, what award do I have? Oh, the playoff MVP. Okay, I guess Jordan Walker was really good in the postseason last year, so I guess we just hope he can continue that form running into this season. Other than that, I feel good. This is a good team. This should win a World Series. Like, the pitching's strong. This is very strong. The bullpen, we've still got Traxler, who we can turn to if need be at 83 overall. And then lineup-wise, like I've said, this is a great offensive lineup with Riley Green and, well, now it's just Riley Green as the new guy. And everybody else is originally a Cardinal. Like, literally, Nootbaar, right? Nootbaar, we got Mason Wynn, Burleson, all started with the Cardinals, right? We've got Cohen, Herrera, Weatherholt, Walker, Sagasi. I mean, like, this is just like super homegrown. Obviously the bullpen's changed a little bit, but hence Roby. Like, I like what we've got going on here. Let's finish off this final season. 94 and 68, taking on the winner of the wild card. Again, we've been fantastic every single season. Let's take a quick look, kind of see what our worst season was. It was that 2025 year. Every single season since, 90 win team or better. So I'm pretty happy with what we've done. Really quickly, let's take a look at league leaders. As you can see, Tarek Skubal was fantastic again in the regular season. I need him to be good in the postseason. And then we got Mason Wynn, who had an 8.2 WAR season. Unbelievable. Riley Green's up there. Mason Wynn's up there for batting average. Okay, what about hits? Okay, Mason Wynn is there with 180. If we take a look at doubles, it was Bobby Witt along with Jackson Churio as the top Carroll and Travis Bazana triples leaders, and then home run leader went to Yordan Alvarez and Shohei Ohtani. Okay, I see Daryl hanging around there at the bottom of that list. I like seeing that. So awards, what do we got? We've got a Cy Young, we've got a Rookie of the Year, and a batting title. Okay, I will take that. Ohtani won MVP. Yordan also won it on the AL side. Cole Reagans along with Skubal were your Cy Young winners. Mason Wynn beating out his teammate Riley Green, and also Ken Lane of the Nationals. He looks insane, by the way. Holy cow. Jose Miranda was the batting title winner for the Twins. Angel Zerpa along with Matt Strom were the relievers of the year, and then Rookie of the Year, Daryl Cohen. Back-to-back Rookies of the Year, by the way, or Rookie of the Years. Either way, Chester Payton won it for the White Sox. All right, pitching wise, bullpen let me down a little bit. I completely forgot about Tom Park, by the way. He's developing fantastic, but of course last year the rebuild, I guess it doesn't matter. We've got Jonathan Hernandez, who actually did call up in September, but they didn't use him a single inning. So there's that. Zach Thompson pitched 10 innings this year and got shelled, just absolutely shelled. 10 innings, 7 earned runs, 2 home runs, a bunch of walks. Super disappointing. I was actually thinking he'd be pretty good this year. Bryce Wilson also struggled in the 40 innings that he pitched, and so did Caleb Ferguson. So I'm going with something a little different for the postseason this year. 3 long relievers, and then 3 middle relief, a setup, and a closer with 4 starters, obviously. So we've got Cade Povich, who continues to just do well in this long relief role. I'm perfectly fine with that. The whip's a little high, I will admit that. And then same thing with Espino. His whip's a little high, but the ERA sub 4. I think I'll take that. Hence, also kind of struggling. So we had that first season and then just disappointing afterwards. I wonder if FIP is a little bit better here. His was 3.4. Okay, what about 4.8 and a 4? Okay, so I guess maybe, you know, fielding's letting him down a little bit. We do have one of the worst fielding teams in baseball. We've got Liberatore, who pitched 9 innings, didn't allow a single earned run. We have Traxler, who got 5 starts, went 0-1 on the season. He was a September call-up, but he did well. So with his 70 stamina, I'm going to let him rock as a middle reliever for the postseason. Gregory Santos was a fantastic pickup. Jojo Romero continues to do well. And then Ryan Helsley, last year of his contract, I mean, the guy was shutting it down as the closer. Skubal won Cy Young for a reason, along with Mackenzie Gore, who was solid. Not great, but he was solid. Takoa Roby continues to do well. And then Caleb Hamill, 200 innings. Good work. I like that. So just really quickly, let's see any awards since he joined us. What year did he join us? In 2028. So he won a Gold Glove and a Cy Young. Nothing for Gore, nothing for Roby, nothing for Hamill. Anything. So we're going from 2025 on. So he's been a all-star every single year for us. Nothing for Romero. Okay, so nothing there. Offensively, we've got Theis here as our backup catcher. He was a backup catcher, right? Brendan Donovan continues to just do well off the bench. Not an award since we started this. Victor Scott got 300 ABs. Didn't really do much with it, which is super disappointing. And then Randall Lowry is going to be on our postseason roster. 90 ABs. The average at 260 is okay. The on-base percentage, not so much. But the OPS is looking nice. I'll take that. Gorman, 88 at-bats, so almost double the at-bats from the previous season. Just no. So not ideal. Newbar is starting to regress a little bit, and I put him in the leadoff just to kind of keep a balance of everything here. Might have to take him out of the leadoff spot just because, like, the numbers aren't bad. But I would like to probably put Mason Wynn in that leadoff spot. Awards, just a Silver Slugger in last year. Mason Wynn continues to just produce doubles, triples, home runs, stolen bases. Everything doesn't matter. He's doing it. He got a batting title and 2 all-star appearances. We know Alec Burleson's been putting up crazy numbers. I mean, look at that. All-stars, Silver Sluggers, MVPs, all-star MVPs, home run champion, 31 home runs this year. This was his second worst season, but even 31 home runs, can't complain. Daryl Cohen, I guess it could be Cowan. Either way, a potential now. Look at the rookie year for him. Unbelievable stuff with 30 home runs. Riley Green came in, gave us a really good 30 home run season, and an appearance in the All-Star game in 2027, which wasn't with us. Jordan Walker finally put it together. Finally. It took this long for him to put it together. The whole rebuild. What the heck? Ivan Herrera, still a really solid catcher. I'm loving that. We've got Weatherholt, who did have a little bit of a slump this season. And then back to Newbar. Oh, I moved him down. And then Thomas Agassi also had a little bit of a sophomore slump. That was why I called up Lowry. So Lowry in September could play first. And then Cowan could move to third. So that's the team. This is how we're going to be rocking in the postseason against the Giants, who I know have made some moves. I've seen their name pop up a little bit. So Brandon Marsh, Gunnar Henderson, Luis Robert. Yeah, there's plenty of talent on this squad. And looking at the pitching, though, I feel like that's a pitching staff that we can take advantage of. All right, come on. We swept them. We swept them to end the season. Right there. Boom. That series, we swept them. We got to keep this momentum going. And it's not looking great. We lose the first. But then we win the next 2. There we go. Skubal versus the Diamondbacks. We know that team's unbelievable. Let's not lose to them. So we're up 2-1. We have scored 9 runs in every game so far. Then it's a 3-2 game. We lose that one. Roby, please, Hamill. We're taking on the Royals, which we saw them briefly because we looked at them when we talked about Ronald Acuna. So they've got Witt. They've got Rich Morales, who looks like they've drafted. William Contreras is signed with them. Acuna. Kobe Mayo is somehow on this team. Benji Kilgore. I remember him. He was actually someone that I wanted in the draft, and they took him before me. He looks really good. Prado, Cross, and Michael Massey. And then looking at their pitching staff, how did Caglione do this year? He was fine. Offensively, 33 home runs is pretty good too. Again, I feel like feel like we can get to a couple of these starters here, and we should be okay. Offensively, this could be a crazy matchup. Skubal game 1, right? Mackenzie Gore, like, is really selling me here. Like, I don't even know if I want him pitching. Like, he's been terrible. Maybe game 3 instead of game 2. Maybe that can put us on the front foot a little bit. These two are sucking it up, which is not great. And that's it. I mean, Sagesi's struggling a little bit too, but I mean, our leadoff hitters hitting 222. Our two-time MVPs hitting 174. Also, I'm just noticing the Dodgers didn't make the postseason. That's actually a pretty interesting postseason going on over there. Okay. That's a good win. Then we lose the second. He won us a game. He won us a game. Cole Hamel, 3-1. That is huge. Let's do it. Let's do it, Skubal. On the road, can we wear the blues? I feel like that's a fun matchup right there. Light blue, and it's gonna be Skubal. Obviously, team's a little tired, but I have faith. We're gonna do this. We don't go 1, 2, 3. Runners on the corners, strikeout. Bummer. They get a single and then a ground out. We gotta strike first. Don't let that happen. Yeah, exactly. Don't let that happen. Runner was thrown out going home. That's big. Mason Wynn on second with the double, and we have the bases loaded thanks to an error. And then Riley Green with the single gives us the lead. There we are. That is huge. Caught stealing. He got greedy. The single would have brought him in. And then another double. And then we don't bring in the run. 2-1 is not good enough. I can't. Like I said, it's not good enough. We need Alec Burleson to wake up and go 3 for 3 in a very important game. It makes it 3-2. And Skubal's a little tired. So I'm going to go to a righty here in the 5th. I'm going to go with Hence. And he gives me a shutout inning. That's big. I'll take that for sure. Can he give me another shutout inning? He does. Perfect. I think I'm going to go to a lefty next inning because I saw there was a couple lefties coming up. If we could get maybe a stolen base, put him in scoring position, and not bring him in, that's cool too. Pitching change. Okay. Let's go with, in the 7th, maybe Romero. I feel like we just got to play the matchups here, and we do it perfectly. That was a little worrying against Bobby Witt, I'm not going to lie, but we made it work. A triple for Herrera. Please get the sac fly. Make it a 2-run game. I will take the out. That is okay. Now, the thing is, do I want Helsley for the 6-out save, or do I want to test it with Santos? I think I'm going to test it with Santos. The double play was unbelievable there. Holy cow. Holy cow. And it comes down to the man, Ryan Helsley. The ground out. The walk. I don't like that. I don't like this one bit. Okay. It really comes down to Bobby Witt Jr. and he grounds out and we win a World Series. Burleson ended up being huge in that game with the solo shot or the 2-run shot. I don't remember what it was. MVP went to Mason Wynn, and the playoff MVP was Riley Green. So Mason Wynn really turned it around. Apparently he hit 445 or 545. Holy cow, Riley Green. Jesus. I mean, look at those three. We had a rookie and a guy who was struggling the entire rebuild to show up again in the postseason. He is just a big-time player because he was the postseason MVP last year when we lost in the World Series. So we had a rookie, a primetime player in Jordan Walker, and a new signing, Riley Green. I mean, again, Mackenzie Gore let me down big time, but you know, Skubal came to play, so I can't be upset about that. Looking at the bullpen, Traxler definitely sucked, but we'll look past that one. Offensively, you can kind of see things definitely picked up for the postseason. Herrera's kind of struggled a little bit, and so did Sagesi. But overall, I'm really happy with this team. A lot of homegrown talent, which is always fun to get. And I think we did really good with the Cardinals for this rebuild. I know I promised an Oriole rebuild a few days ago. I lost a few seasons because of my recording corrupting, so I've basically had to restart the entire rebuild, which sucks. So it's coming out. I'm hoping it will be the next rebuild here in the next day or two, but I've wanted to drop the Brewers one and this one so you guys would still have some content to watch. And if speaking of content, if you want some more, check out this one right here. I think you'll really enjoy it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.